This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And let me tell you, folks, a 4-year work anniversary for yours truly has come and gone today. And to celebrate as said such, I'm going to go enjoy tomorrow at work and then head out to Millerville for the rodeo down there this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and enjoy it doing the old Dolynny TV stuff I used to get up to, i.e. streaming live sports events. Can't wait to do that. Of course, the rodeo, great time, as you saw the video from Medicine Hat earlier this summer. So it's been a productive week. It's been a productive day. It's been a feel-good day, that's for sure. And now, all of a sudden, guess what? It's 8 o'clock. I get to sit down and discuss Justin Bailey with you signing a PTO with the Edmonton Oilers. Man, what a perfect bow on a perfect day. My brother moved out of the local area recently, and he actually was just down for the first time since, visiting a little bit. I've seen him, I guess I saw him at Country Thunder, but I got to see him tonight for supper, and actually more of a nice sit down, relax, and get caught up kind of meeting, and it was as such. Unfortunately, your boy picked Boston Pizza for supper, and that meant it was on my tab. That's the fun part. When you pick the restaurant, you screw yourself into paying the bill. Ay, ay, ay. I gotta tell you, that's kind of tough, but hey, we'll be fine. And yeah, of course, that's why we're delayed getting to the Justin Bailey stuff. But hey, we're almost here, and we will get to it in a moment. But if you're new to the channel, folks, you've just gotten to know me a little bit. I've just told you a little bit all about my life today. Well, folks, if you want to stick around and find out a lot more, because trust me, there's one thing I am, and it's an overshare. You'll come to find that out if you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. And if, hey, you enjoyed everything, you like what you're hearing for the positive updates from Dolynny TV today, why not give a thumbs up on the video while you are at it? All right, Justin Bailey, what do we know? Well, as far as I know and have seen on Twitter today, the man has played 82 career NHL games. That's what I know. All right, that's as far as I know, and you'll see it in the tweet here from Jason Gregor. That is where we are getting this information from. I try to have graphics ready, but sometimes I amble on a little bit longer and get all excited to talk about myself and forget that we got to do this whole Edmonton Oilers thing. Trust me, ain't nobody on the internet looking to know what Tyson Dolynny's been up to today. And if there is, hey, thank you for caring, because I mean, sometimes it gets quiet around here. And it's nice to know that people care. Anyway, the Oilers have signed Justin Bailey to a PTO. So we're not even talking about a new contract. We're not talking about a new player in the organization. This is just a guy who played in Abbotsford last year. Abbotsford, British Columbia, the affiliate of the Vancouver Canucks. He was there, played, I believe. Let me pull out my phone. See, I got details everywhere. Trust me, I am well on my way, my friends, to doing this Oilers YouTube thing all very well again. So let me pull out the old trusty cell phone. All right. Here was my question to my friend down in Bakersfield, California, that I know all too well about the Bakersfield Condors and the AHL. It keeps me up to date as much as possible. All right. So he sent me the breaking news that Justin Bailey had signed a PTO with the Edmonton Oilers. I then asked, "What news? News? What? That's legitimately a thing?" And he comes back, and this is exactly where I'll be going with this in a moment. This is not breaking news by any means. If you know who Justin Bailey is, which we'll get to in a moment, 82 career NHL games at mid-20s. We're not talking about a guy who's going to be a dial mover on the fourth line. However, he would be an amazing piece for the Condors. This is an ad from a Condors fan, may I add you. All right, and I apologize for quoting these conversations. I try to keep these private, but this is all too well. This is filling time for this Justin Bailey video, which I feel we need to add a little bit of time to. And this was my question. I just needed to make sure I had my facts right before I got on air. He was in Abbotsford this past year, I asked. No? And yes. So he had 27 points in 30 games played with the Abbotsford Canucks this past year. That is the whole point of the conversation, is the guy did put up some points in the minors this year. So keep in mind, almost a point per game player with the Abbotsford Canucks of the AHL. 296 career AHL games. I've went on long enough. Let's go over to the old... where do we want to go? You know what? Let's go to... If I could spell his last name and actually get you an information. He's an American. Not much you know now. He's an American who played with the Kitchener Rangers back in the day. Back in the glory days, boys. Back in the glory days. Yeah, I'm talking the glory days back when I was running wild with Cold Lake Ice back in the day. 2012, 13, 14, 15, Kitchener Rangers, and then last season with the Sioux Greyhounds. Born in Buffalo, New York, Justin Bailey was taken by the Buffalo Sabres and ended up playing with them the next year. 8 games, in fact. He had 45 points in 70 games in the AHL that season, and then continued to be pretty much an AHL lifer his entire career, going with the Sabres in 16-17 for 4 points in 32 games, then again with the Sabres in 17-18 for 4 points in 12 games, so a better offensive year that year in the NHL. Proceeds to go between the Rochester Americans and the Lehigh Valley Phantoms that season, and then goes with Utica, plays with Flyers for 1 assist in 11 games. So never a guy that's amounted to too much. 27 years old as well, by the way. And then plays in Utica with the Vancouver Canucks, you could say. In 1920, ends up playing a total of 53 games, puts up 47 points, dynamic numbers. Plays 2 career games with the Vancouver Canucks that season, puts up no points. Plays 3 games in 2021 with the Canucks, puts up no points, and then proceeds to play 14 games last year and put up no points. So we're talking about a guy similar to Ryan Murray, who hasn't scored a goal in who knows when, has not scored a point in the NHL in 3 seasons, and has at the time a career combined 19 games. So spanning 19 games in 3 years, Mr. Justin Bailey is definitely motivated to come into camp after putting up those 27 points in 30 games, like I said, to try and earn a contract with the Oilers and earn his way back to the NHL. Now, this is... I've killed a lot of time here talking about a guy signing a PTO that has 82 career games in the NHL. However, I know this is going to be my only video, and I'm going to try and pack in as much into every single video I do, because I don't want to do as many videos anymore, because that was just burning me out. So when I have the time to talk, I might as well talk. But friends, Justin Bailey, a guy that very much like Christopher Stieg back in the day when he signed his PTO with the Oilers, could end up kind of going somewhere else. You know what I mean? This is a guy that very well could sign with the Oilers. Canucks might not have space for him in camp, whatever the story might be. Sign with the Oilers, and based on his history so far with the Canucks the past 3 seasons, go right back to the Abbotsford Canucks. I see that as a path, and I mean, a PTO is not a contract, nor is it a guarantee, so you go with what you know, and if you have to sign an AHL deal to work your way back up to the NHL, I would not see Justin Bailey necessarily doing that with the Bakersfield Condors, more likely with the Abbotsford Canucks, if the PTO does not result in some sort of NHL level contract with the Oilers. Now, you can talk about what the Oilers have space for, how many contracts they have, all of that. However, you do know that Ken Holland, based on what we've heard this summer, does not sign players to PTOs unless there is room for them to earn the contract, and more than likely will earn a contract. The Oilers sitting at 43 out of 50 contracts. I'm sure we add 1 or 2 more before the season. Obviously, you got to add Ryan McLeod, so that's 1 in there as well. But you look at it there, for Justin Bailey, this is definitely, he's earning a contract to keep the pro hockey dream alive. And obviously playing pretty much every single season of his NHL career available in the NHL. This is a guy that, despite playing 82 games, has stuck around the NHL for every single season of his career, it seems, except I think he might have missed 1 in there somewhere, but that's pretty impeccable, right? That's really impressive that, you know, despite missing that much time in between, right, starting in 14-15, or 15-16, pardon me, starting your NHL career in 15-16, and jumping around as much as he has, and somehow only being 27, coming to camp on a PTO, having played every single year of your NHL career at one point in the NHL that season, and only amassing 82 games and how many ever points he had, that's, you know what, you gotta appreciate the hustle. And hey, as a guy who, like I said, going into year number 5 this upcoming season, covering the Oilers on YouTube, yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta appreciate the hustle. And I mean, I hope people appreciate my hustle, and I know they do, so I'm going to pass it on. Like, this whole video is just good vibes only. I hope you've gotten that much out of it. It is just good vibes only, and realistically, hey, man, you know what? You want to chase the pro hockey dream and somehow, some way do what Justin Bailey's done? That is effing phenomenal, quite honestly. I'm sorry, there are not many guys that can make that happen that consistently over the course of that long. That's pretty incredible. I mean, it was a special moment, not necessarily for Oilers fans, but I mean, guys that know Brad Malone, Bakersfield Condors fans, probably Jay Woodcroft, seeing Brad Malone in the playoffs against the Colorado Avalanche, that was indeed a special moment for a lot of people involved in his career, simply because, right, the last time he was in the NHL playoffs was when he was playing for Colorado. That was one weird coincidence. And then secondarily, it had been a hot minute since he had been in there, and somehow, some way, he was still around doing his thing that advanced late into his career. Now, Justin Bailey, not a guy that late into his career. I mean, he is literally in the prime of his career, and he's fighting to keep his career alive at this point. But the Bakersfield Condors, if not the Abbotsford Canucks, two very likely ending spots for this PTO, and both very good situations for Justin Bailey. Like, I mean, you put up point per game in the AHL, you probably want to stay on that team, so that's why I say Abbotsford. But at the same rate, too, if the Condors are going to graduate players up this season, which is what we want with Dylan Holloway, that's what we think might happen with Carter Savoy, that's what we think might happen with Brad Malone a little bit this year, Seth Griffith a little bit this year, of course, Xavier Bourgault, who knows? Well, my friends, guess what? End of day, you gotta have a Justin Bailey. And here he is, coming to camp on a PTO. Did I bore you to death, or was this a well worth it 12 and a half minutes on a guy that is maybe going to see one game of NHL time this season? Could see 10. You just never know. We're in September, not October, and heck, we have not made the new year yet. Folks, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am up on to here.